Well, some of you know I've been to Unity Village all week, and I got in late last night. My plane was stuck on the tarmac while the bus was driving to Cape Cod. So I had to wait 2.5 hours, get the next bus. And so I wrote my message in the terminal. Let's see what I wrote here. No, I'm just kidding. I did write that on an envelope, but I didn't want to forget all of it, so I did write a little more. But this is pretty exciting, what I wrote on this envelope. It's probably this is the core message of this sermon today. Trusting the process, right? That's the title of our message today. Trusting the process of spiritual awakening means that you're beginning to listen to something that we like to call transcendent wisdom. It's been called the still small voice within you. It's been called the voice of God. Some call it the Lord. When Jesus talked about the heavens, he was talking about your higher consciousness, that place of transcendent wisdom. It's not from my mortal thinking and from my mortal limitations. That's why in Charles Fillmore's invocation prayer, his invocation prayer says, "Now erase my mortal limitations. From thy substance of pure love, erase now my mortal limitations." It's from the substance of what? Pure love. That's what erases my mortal limitations and brings into manifestation my world according to your perfect law, according to divine principle, according to transcendent wisdom. I got that from a class I was taking last week. And it was a class in interpersonal communication that a woman who was running the class, don't put this on the video. I can't remember her name. Reverend Rita Marie Johnson. Reverend Rita Marie was teaching the connection practice. And it's a beautiful, beautiful practice that she has developed. And in it, there's a heart math process. And in that process, you get into something called coherence between your heart and your mind. And when that happens, and you're giving empathy and receiving empathy, you gain insight. And that insight comes not from your own understanding, but from a transcendent wisdom. It's an amazing process. I'll share more of that with you at some point. But today, what I really want to talk about is that it's a process of spiritual awakening. And it doesn't really matter what process you use, what practice you use. It matters that you're in the flow of spiritual awakening, that's the goal. Because now, Spirit will align all the methods you need to use to attain that goal. The goal of Unity Worldwide Ministries, or the vision, is a powerfully transformed world. That's our vision. And that happens to be my personal goal. And I will hope, if you're part of Unity or even just passing by as a guest, even if you're just curious, that you know what our vision is. It's a world powerfully transformed. We're at a turning point in the evolution of humankind. I really believe this. We're at an important turning point in our evolution. And what I said several weeks ago was that the real revolution is our evolution of consciousness. The evolution of your consciousness brings about the spiritual awakening that is the means to transform this world. Trust in the Lord then with all of your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. I want to lean unto something else. In all your ways acknowledge Him. Well, we've gotten a little beyond Him. Because in all our ways we acknowledge a transcendent wisdom. We acknowledge a wisdom that is present and in principle always present and with us. And it doesn't matter if you call it him or her or it. It doesn't matter if you call it spirit. It doesn't matter what you call it. Universal mind, universal principle, God, divine ideas, the presence, the one, the source. It doesn't matter what you call it, but call it something and acknowledge it. Acknowledge that whatever that universal experience of divine energy, of pure love, whatever that is, it's within you. And when you come into the experience of that in yourself, it will direct your path. Your path will be directed by a transcendent wisdom, not by your own limited understanding, which almost always is acting out of fear. It's not a positive, I have a vision of a world powerfully transformed. I'm afraid this will happen, so I'm not going to do that. I'm afraid that will happen. I'm afraid what's going to happen here. And all of these fears that we have directed our paths. The scripture says, acknowledge this God within you, this transcendent experience. It's more than a being, it's a beingness. It's more than a consciousness, it's consciousness itself. It's more than a presence, it's the presence. It's the one thing and the one power that has reality in our life and in this world. So yes, we have to take the scriptures and we have to do a little metaphysical treatment with them to expand knowledge of it to fit our experience in real time. We can't rely on past understanding. We can't lean onto our own understanding. We have to go to transcendent wisdom. And we know that all things are going to work together for good to those who love that experience of God. Those who are called according to that higher purpose. I'm going to break this down for you a little bit, how I like to translate it. All things work together to those who know God is love. All things work together to those who know that the source of all life and all of universal mind is pure love. Everything else is of our own making and our own imagining. And that's the biggest attitude shift. Because there's an attitude in religious thinking that there's a devil and there's a hell and there's an evil force, and that your God can battle this evil force and win. Yay, touchdown. It's like, how primitive. It's okay, but it's primitive. When you get rid of the evil force, that gives you responsibility for the world that you are seeing and the world you are manifesting. That's why Charles Fillmore's invocation prayer is, bring forth from the substance of thy pure love the manifestation of my world according to your perfect law, the perfect law of love in the universe. Bring forth into manifestation my world according to divine law. According to what? Transcendent wisdom. And that's a process, my friends, to trust in something that transcends my understanding. That's a little bit of a process, because I want to argue with truth all the time. I want to say, no, this is the world I see. There's good and evil, and I have to have a lot of resistance, and I have to fight against this and that. Well, it's you can fight, but what I want you to do is know the meaning of your life. And the meaning of your life is just simply to find your gift, and the purpose is to give it away. This is Pablo Picasso, because we're creative and we like artists and musicians. My other favorite quotes, guys, are John Bon Jovi and Jimi Hendrix. But Pablo Picasso said it's so simple. Find your gift, because you all have a unique gift and you are a unique expression of God. And you need to give that to the world. Your purpose is to give that gift that you are away to the world. And it can be in a number of different forms, but you'll have to trust the process, that Spirit is leading you through a divine and transcendent wisdom to really fulfill your purpose here, to give yourself to the world. Oh, who's this guy? I wish Bruce were here. Oh, Leonard's here. I love this guy because his political viewpoints were not the same as mine, but his moral viewpoint far exceeded the ones that I adopted. And I love it. You know, John McCain said, nothing is more freeing, liberating, than to fight for a cause larger than yourself, something that encompasses you but is not defined by your existence alone. What's he teaching here? Oneness. And he's teaching fidelity to a higher purpose, a higher cause, and perhaps a higher power. And I love this guy because he adopted a acceptance of the people that did not agree with him. He almost nominated a Democrat to be his running mate. That would have been revolutionary, wouldn't it? And his party said, you can't do that. He said, why not? This guy's incredible. He's a friend of mine. We work well together. We have different ideas. But somehow, what happens when our ideas come together? Something else occurs. A third thing happens. It's never going to happen if you keep disagreeing forever and ever. Something else occurs that says, okay, these two ideas that have come together are forming another third idea that neither of you were thinking about. And that's trusting in a transcendent wisdom. Why I like this guy is when he was also in a prison camp in Hanoi, in Vietnam, and they offered him early release, he refused. After the torture that he went through physically, the pain, physically, emotionally, he said, the men and women who were captured before me and the ones that will come after me will think I got off because I was the son of an admiral. And I wanted to show them that we are the same and that we suffer together and we heal together. And I love all of the focus on the goodness of this man in the last few days since his passing and his funeral yesterday. I love the focus of the people who disagree with one another could come together and agree on the positive qualities of this man and what he brought to us. Regardless of his politics, and that was his world, regardless of their disagreements, there's one thing that they could agree on, that we all share a common need for love, acceptance, and overcoming our sense of separation in this world. Now, he may have had some different ideas about how to do that, and his process is very, very different from mine, but the goal is the same, and that's a world powerfully transformed by a shared awakening of spirit. And that spirit is always working, no matter on what level you think you are or the other person is. Spirit is always working and is always in charge. And so by taking responsibility for your own spiritual awakening and transformation, forget about anybody else, being true to your own cause of awakening, you are directly impacting humanity's awakening. If that's your focus, you are directly impacting everything in this world. And you can stand up for everything you believe in and not back down because you know that Spirit has given you this motivation, that Spirit has given you the transcendent wisdom to do what you're doing. No one else can guide you and tell you what to do. No one outside of you. It's always going to be your inner wisdom. It's always going to be telling you exactly what you need to do, where you need to be, who you need to talk to, what you need to say to them, who you need to heal, who you need to pray for, what songs you need to sing. It doesn't matter. Spirit is guiding you in each and every moment. Listen to that Spirit. And remember that by focusing on your spiritual awakening, you're impacting the whole of humanity. Your personal evolution is needed for this world to change. I can't be sitting around waiting for other people to change, blaming them for what's going on in my world. Instead, I would rather turn to the Spirit of the living God in me and say, bring forth my world according to your perfect law. From that substance of pure love. That's my prayer today. And that's a process that I need to trust, that it will be manifest from that substance of pure love. Everything in humanity is a process. Just getting up in the morning is a process. Oh my gosh, I need a shower. I need to get some coffee. I need to open the window. What day is it? What time is it? Oh no. Where's my watch? It's quite a process to get in the car and get here. And if you've been up until 2 a.m. playing someplace, it might be another process. It's a process for everyone. Building a house is a process. You have to create a plan. You have to have a vision. You have to buy the land. You have to make the foundation. You have to have a blueprint. A blueprint for living. No, we're not ready yet. I'm just setting up the song. But there is a blueprint. And the blueprint is written on your heart. You have to look in the right place. You have to look at the right plans to build the house. Right, George? If somebody gives you the wrong plans and you build it, and they go, what the heck is that? And George is going to say, those are the plans you gave me. They might say, that's not... Yeah. Or you can't make up your own plan. Oh, I'll build your house for you. So that's not what I was imagining. So you need to have an agreement, and you need to go by the blueprint. But our agreement has to be with Spirit, with transcendent wisdom, with truth. What really is deep, deep in our hearts. From thy substance of pure love. That's where you always have to go. That's the test of truth. Is it coming from the substance of pure love? That's the world that I want manifest. Always go to the heart. Always. When your heart and your mind begin to communicate, that's called coherence. You're in a coherent vibration within yourself. And then you can begin to vibrate in the same energy with others. And it's the most powerful thing I know. And I have witnessed physical healings just by being in the presence of some people who are in a very deep coherence of love. And then we all want to seek to get around that person. But the times have changed, and the spiritual evolution, your spiritual evolution, is necessary. You know, finally, there was a man who came to Jesus and asked him about healing, and he said, "Physician, heal thyself. You have everything within you. You know how to do it. You just have to start listening to that transcendent wisdom. Heal thyself." Which is how the unity movement started, Myrtle Fillmore healing herself. So you need a blueprint. And be patient with yourself in following that plan. I used to build houses, so I used to frame houses, and we couldn't start the project until the foundation was dry. If they poured the foundation, it was a very humid week, we'd be waiting and waiting for that foundation to dry. We had to be patient. We had to go by the blueprint. You have to build the foundation. You have to lay the floor before you can put up the walls, and you have to put on the rafters before you can put on the roof. And you have to have a roof before you can start on the inside. And you have to get paid before you start anything. Or the project's not going to get finished. So be patient with yourself. Be patient because your self-growth is very tender. It's precious and it's holy ground, and there's no greater investment. I want you to invest in yourself. I want you to pay yourself often and early. In every way. Your spiritual growth is tender and it's precious and it's most valued. It's the most valued thing in this whole world. So from Unity Worldwide Ministries, I will accept wholeness as the divine blueprint of my being. Wholeness. When we sing the song, Holy, 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 this is what we're talking about. Holy just means wholeness. When you're in your wholeness, in your whole being, that's holiness. It's integrated. Heart and mind and body and soul. With all thy heart, all thy mind, all thy strength, all my spirit, all my soul, I will love you. I will love the truth of us. I will love God, which is that divine spirit within all of us, the perfect, eternal, loving source. When I am integrated, I am whole. That's what holiness is. It's not that there are some holier than others. It's not like that. Your holiness? Well, you're all holy. You're all, in truth, you're all precious gifts from the Father, Mother, God. You're a precious gift to this world. And in your wholeness, that gift will be given. And that's the divine blueprint of my being, is wholeness. That blueprint is already in me. It's already in my consciousness. And it is brought forth by that transcendent wisdom that I was talking about. That's what I need to follow. That's the blueprint. Following the plan of Spirit for me in each moment. Let it change too. Let the plan change as you grow, as you expand. Because love is the only reality. And it's not a mere sentiment to say that. It is the ultimate truth that lies at the heart of creation. Love is our only reality. It is the ultimate truth. And it lies at the heart of everything you create in life as well. So you can make this very practical. Unity is practical Christianity, right? We can make this very practical. If love is the only reality and at the heart of all creation, it must be the reality of everything I create in this life as well. Everything I create, every relationship I have, everything that I express, everything that I represent in this life, it has to be given to that reality. And then it will be my reality. It will be my reality if that's what I give myself to. Oh, that's all I had. Oh, too bad. What am I going to do? I'm going to have faith. I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to listen to my higher purpose. When you step out of your comfort zone for your higher purpose, the universe will support you in every way, my friends. Trust that process. Keep stepping out of your comfort zone. Keep letting go of your limited understanding and trust all your ways to that transcendent wisdom. Trust the process that Spirit is guiding you into something greater, something more wonderful each and every day. Have faith that that's what's happening. And have faith that you can also do it that you are given all the power. It's not somebody else is going to come in and do it for you. You are given all the power, and that's where all the fun is that I get to take these principles, I get to take this divine blueprint, and I get to build my life according to that perfect substance of love. And I get to have a life and manifest a life according to thy perfect divine law. Amazing. How amazing. What a discovery that all that power is within me. And I need to have faith that it's always available. And there is a blueprint. And it is very practical. And I can follow it. But what I must use is my transcendent wisdom. And I must trust the process. Thanks, you guys. I love you so much.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.